What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be a trade recap. I had a lot of responses asking for this, so today I'm going to be going over recap from Monday night and then Tuesday and the trades I took then. So let me just get straight into it. Ignore the mess in my room. It's just I've just built this wardrobe, so don't have any space to put anything right now. If that makes sense. Yeah. Anyway, get into the video. So starting off with on the 4 hour, actually no, on the daily, to actually have my bias. In this recent price action, we come down to the week low that I had, slash here, and we have failed to close below on the daily. We've also failed to take this here, so this is a no close also. On top of that, I didn't really look at the 4 hour because I had that, and then the 4 hour wasn't as relevant to me. Because if it's the daily, then I'll just go down to the hourly on the mid time frame to look for the next point in price action for me. So what happened after this no close plus sweep on a daily is I had this mid time frame order flow shift. This is on the 1 hour time frame, and as you can see, it broke 50% on this first candle. Therefore, this is a protected high for me. So now what I've been looking for is longs. We did actually come up to this and we had an order flow shift here on a low time frame, but it was just a little retracement. Anyway, we had then the order flow shift back to the upside right here, and mid time frame was already bullish for me. So So what I was then looking for is I took two trades in here. I took one off this IPL and I got stopped out here, and this one here, which wasn't the best trade. It was probably the reasons these didn't play out as well is because I didn't have a mid time frame week structure. I only had a high time frame. So obviously I'm still new to NQ, but sometimes I'm forward testing, sometimes I just take it on my funded account. Because realistically, my funded account for me is to learn how to actually trade futures, and it's more of an investment for the future. So if I take a few losses, I don't really care because at the end of the day, it's all data. But anyway, going through what I actually caught. So obviously we then had the low time frame order flow shift again. Unfortunately, I didn't get to catch this move because of the rejection candle was so big. So I would have caught counter trend on here. But we came up. We also had a mid time frame break, so we created a new mid time frame high on the hourly, and then we dropped down a bit. And I class, for me, it's all very how do I say it? It's all very conditional for me. So in this instant, this was a counter trend no close plus sweep plus divergence. I don't believe I didn't have SMTs on it. For me, a lot of people say, oh, this is inducement, this isn't that, this isn't whatever. Inducement needs to be, for example, a point like this or a point like this. But for me, it's very, very discretional. And me looking at this, I've seen this a lot of times before. We're so high up in the leg. We're tier 3 low time frame and mid time frame. We need some sort of retracement. So we've had this little leg down, and then what I'm thinking is, okay, there may be counter trend. We come up to the high, fail to break this one, and this one. So there's no break above, and I had divergence, as you can see here. I don't know why there's two lines, but I had divergence and the sweep. This is one of my highest actually win rate models. So I'm still building a day up on NQ, but basically the system I trade is the system I built up on GU. So, but it just works a lot better on NQ in my personal opinion. In the recent weeks I've been trading it, but yeah, we didn't get a break and we had a rejection candle here. Entered, went break even when we closed below on this candle right here, and then as you can see, hit straight to TP. And I always target. This is a refinement I made seeing from GU actually, from seeing so many of my trades, my counter trend especially, not reach it all the way to the wicks, but nearly nearly the whole time it would reach the body. If it didn't, it would either be break even or a loss. So I adjusted my system for counter trends. I only target the body of the inducement that I'm targeting, which is why, as you can see here, it worked perfectly. We took that, I got out, and then look, we started rejecting that. It was just choppy price action. Yes, it did eventually get there, but a lot of times I've seen it because it basically, the reason why is because this can be classed as a no close and it's pro trend compared to this being counter trend. So the probability that we're going to start moving up, where we could be moving up from this point, is higher than us actually coming all the way down to the point, because this is a pro trend and this is a counter trend, if that makes sense. Anyway, so that was the first trade. That was a 4.58R. This was taken at around 740, and I had a 60 pip stop loss from this high here. Not pip, sorry, tick. This wasn't taken on the funded because I couldn't really watch it that much. I was busy. And to be fair, all three of these trades weren't taken. Because I took these two losses, I didn't trade again this day, which is why I took this forward test. And then these two trades, this one was a forward test because we had SMTs on this, as you'll be able to see here on this, but we didn't have SMTs on the actual high that I would be taking it, because in my plan I always take it from the top high. However, this was valid to me due to there being divergence from the high here, as you can see here. So that's the reason I took it, as well as I can add it into my forward tests. Like we actually had SMTs on a low below it, which again is a very clean trade, and it looked very good for me. The reason I exited, because my original target was down here, as I said, at the inducement body low. What happened was we created SMTs at the lows, and again, it's a pro trend. So for me, I'm forward testing SMTs at the lows. Like, for example, if I'm shorting, if we get SMTs at lows, I've seen it before start going up, especially if it's a pro trend model. But in my plan is to exit if we get SMTs in a rejection candle. And in this instant, because it was a pro trend model, I thought, okay, I'm going to take this as well. It's actually, I did break my rules here, I'm going to be honest, because if I have one winning trade in a session, I don't trade until the next session, if that makes sense. But if I have a loss in one session, then my plan is that I can take one more trade. My cat's jumping down. But yeah, this ended up as a loss, but this was a no close plus SMTs. Then there was no criteria for me to go break even in this, and then obviously New York Open literally just stopped me out and then shot all the way up to my TP. But it happens. I wouldn't have taken the no close plus sweep from this anyway, or even from this, because look at that rejection candle. It's horrible. But yeah, so that was the Monday night until Tuesday around 3 o'clock, when I finally exited this trade, when I got stopped out. I'm going to be having another video from today's trade. You'll be able to see, but I caught this move down today. Market hasn't been the best, kind of ranging conditions in the mid time frame / low time frame, as you can see, but I've been capitalizing on it as much as I can with mainly no close models, especially in these situations. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I've got a video, as I said, coming out after this one, or maybe tomorrow I'll post it, of today's trade. And today's date is the 11th. I took these two trades on the 10th and the 9th. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope explanation helped and helps you understand the way I trade, the way I look at the market, etc. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.